Yo, what's up, guys? This is obviously the remake of the first one that the volume went out on, so I'm going to try to make it a little quicker. Poll question, as y'all saw in the first video, I voted on it already. I voted for Sean, as you can see my little asterisk there. But let's get into the recap. And sorry for the people that participated in the trivia on All-Star Break and no one won. That's just misfortunate. Week 17, the Power Week. I lost all my sticky notes from yesterday because I threw them away. But I do have power rankings still, so we're good there. But I'll try to remember the award finalists. Pretty sure I will. Santana took down me 8-3-1. Predicted it to go 7-4-1 myself. It was a really good matchup. Santana won it late on Sunday. We both had really good weeks. His team's fully healthy now, so it's going to be a team to watch in the future for sure. Cody took down Brandon 6-5-1. It could have been a little worse. Brandon got some categories late and made it much closer, which is good for Brandon. Possibly a championship game, but they might be in the same bracket in the playoffs, so might not make it to see each other in the championship game. Moving on down to John taking down Josh 8-2-2. No surprise here. Josh's team really struggling. He took a big hit with the All-Star break. A lot of his players just took hits with getting traded and getting dropped and waived. It's really upsetting for Josh, who was making some really good pickups and push for the playoffs. Heath takes down Victor 10-2-0. Victor had a really bad week outside of his 12 double-doubles. Heath won big, but he really didn't have a good week compared to other people. Moving on down here, Tusi and Sean taking down Austin 8-3-1. This was much closer the whole week, and then Sean snuck out some categories late on Sunday, which was really good because Sean definitely is trying to build up his lead coming into the last week, which we'll get to later. Week 18, obviously it's Tuesday, so game's already happened. I think I'll beat Josh, though. I think it'll be close, but I think I beat him. Between John and Brandon, John's got the upper hand early, but I think Brandon sneaks this out. It's super close, but I think he sneaks it out. Heath and Santana. Heath's up big 8-3-1 now. I think Santana can squeak this one out, but very close. They might tie 6-6-0. Sean beating Victor 8-3-1. I predict this one to continue to stay in the beatdown of fashion. I question Victor's tactics, I guess, of late. But, maybe he has a surprise for us in the playoffs. So. And then Cody getting whooped by Austin 8-3-1 right now. I don't think that stands, depending on how Cody treats this matchup. I think he benched people yesterday. But we'll see. I still think Cody pulls it out and wins. He's chasing the 1 seed, which we'll get into now. In the standings, Sean is up 3 games on Heath, 5 games on Cody, and 5.5 on John. It's anyone's game. Cody has the easiest matchup this week, sitting 5 games out playing Austin. So if you get a big win and Sean and Heath and John don't really do much, then Cody could take it over. Heath's trying to beat Santana bad, and then Sean's beating Victor pretty bad. So we'll see. Brandon's pretty much got the 2 seed locked up, but he ain't gonna catch Sean. So your seeds 8 through 10 are already set. They can't change. The battle for the 7 seed's still alive between Santana and Victor. We play this week, so we'll be playing next week as well to play Sean, assuming it's Sean. And then if these seeds don't change, I can see maybe Cody. If Heath loses, I could see these 2 switching right here. But this is what they are right now. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Could see them 2 switching. Right now, Santana does have the 6 seed, which will give him a bye. Which is funny. These 2 play this week, so if they end up playing again next week, we'll, just like me and Josh, we'll have some information on what's going to happen when they meet in the playoffs. Right now, Victor will be playing Austin, which is still practically a bye week, I assume. And they'll come out and play Brandon, which I would favor Brandon in heavily, unless Santana falls down to the 7 seed somehow. Then that would be a really good matchup in week 2, and that's upset alert for Brandon. Go ahead and do power rankings. Pull up the season standings. Power rankings were Cody was in first, had a really good week. Second was Santana. Like I said, his team's back and played really well. Third was Brandon. I mean, he had a good week as well. I mean, these are the teams that you're just accustomed to seeing up here. Fourth was Sean, another team that you're used to seeing up here. Fifth was myself. I had a really good week. Don't expect to see me back in the top 5. Sixth was John. Us top 6 was really good, and then there was just a fall off. The 7th was Heath. That's no disrespect to Heath either. His team just didn't put up the numbers that 6 teams ahead of him did. I mean, those 6 teams played really well. 8th was Josh. 9th was Victor, and everyone knows who 10th was. But let's get into these awards that I'm going to try to remember. The MVP/MVO, Most Valuable Owner. My finalists are... Hold on, I'm going to pause this video. The MVO finalists are Sean, Heath, Cody, John, and Brandon. The snub would obviously be in Santana. He had a very fantastic year, so it's no disrespect to him. His team just took a hit, about for 3 to 4 weeks, and it just really showed that his team couldn't recover in that time. Shocker that's on this list to me is John. At about the halfway season, he didn't have an over 500 record, and he's 107, 78, 19 now, competing for the 1 seed. So that's why he's on there. I'd say the front runners got to be Sean and Brandon. Obviously, there's 4 people with better records than Brandon. Those top 4 teams in the East have better records than Brandon, but he's been a really good owner this year. I'm just not looking at record. I'm looking at everything you've done this year as an owner. Sean's definitely been the most active owner out of anyone. Heath has the most trades as an owner with 6. ESPN says 5, but he did the trade on draft day. It's hard to give Cody MVO. I'm not saying he's out of the running because of this, but I mean, how could the most valuable owner not be checking his team for over half the year? So that's definitely a big hit, that big con to Cody's sake, but definitely not saying he's out of the running. Should be a really good contest. Comeback owner of the year. There was 2 people in it, I think. Yeah, Sean, John, and Brandon were all had bad records last year. If you can peep their records right now, here's Brandon, here's Sean, here's John. Go back to 2016. Maybe we might go back to 2016. Takes about a year to go back there. But they had really bad records if my computer doesn't want to go back there. Like Brandon had the worst record, John had the second worst record, and Sean, he didn't have a terrible record, but he was under 500, and he had to play first round of the playoffs last year. And considering he's possibly going to be the 1 seed, that's a big upgrade. Here we go. Here's Brandon, 59, 139, 18. John's right over here, 73, 127, 16. Sean's right here, franchise tag Sean Brown, 99, 103. We'll go bum of the year next. Those are your 3 awards finalists for the comeback owner of the year. The bum owner of the year, just 2 finalists in it. First being Victor. Here he is, 1 seed last year, balling last year. And next is Josh. That was his best year ever. Still hasn't had an over 500 year. But he had a really good year last year. I mean, you can't deny what he did last year wasn't good. But those 2 are your finalists, and we'll go back to this year's league, and you see where they're at now. Victor's really disimproved from last year, and I think he's going to lose again this week. Right here he is. He's under 500. I think he's going to lose this week to make it even worse. And right here is old Josh. 1 game from 500 last year, and this year he's pretty far back. Those are your award finalists for that. Rookie of the year, sadly, it's going to go to Austin, one of the worst. Usually I have at least 1 good rookie. Obviously, the pressure was high this year because he was the only rookie, but it was just bad. Speaking of Austin's team, before I go on to the last award, what are you doing, dude? Like, you trade for Ben Simmons, who ain't playing. You say you're mad when you find out. He's still on your team. Cody Zeller out. You got all these outs, dude. What are you doing? You have $234. There's so many better people on the... Like, dude, I guarantee this dude's a butt. What are you doing? I just don't get it, dude. There's been people on the waiver wire all year long better than some of these dudes. God, no rebound. God bless, man. But you're the owner, man. So, if you enjoy being the 10 seed and having a terrible year. But last award is the Heart and Hustle Award. Practically the person that does everything, their ability to win. Practically a very active owner. Your finalists are Sean and Heath. Didn't put myself on there even though I've had more moves than Heath, but he's traded more than I have. Heath right here with 50 moves. 179 from Sean. Obviously, Sean's the front runner and probably going to win that award in all honesty, because he's the daily pickup man. That's always trying to win every matchup, which defines that award. But Heath's still in the running. But like I said in the text message yesterday, if you are an award finalist, send me your pitch via text. Why you should win. I mean, I'll go hard off that. Especially if it's funny. Man, I know I said a whole lot more in the last video. Just sort of upsetting seeing teams. Where's it at? Where's it? Players. Teams with so much money that hasn't done anything on the free. I want to go to this. I want to show you some guys today. This is why I question Victor's tactics. He loses Kyle Lowry for the year. Figured he'd go get Corey Joseph. He's like, nah, I'll just spend $5 on him. $5. I don't need him. Well, you're going to need some help. I'll tell you that. Good pickup by Josh. Interesting to see $51, though. Because, the money's getting low for some of these guys. And that's why I say that. Like, Victor, what are you doing? You have 200 and how much money? $64. What did we start off with? 275 or two? I don't know how much we started off with. I think it was 275 and you only spent $11. Your team could be so much better. And I don't know, there's a bunch of teams. Brandon's done really well with pickups. That's why he's in definitely the most valuable owner race. He's made his pickups count. Cody hasn't even traded this year. 5 pickups. But Austin, terrible team all year long and still has that much money. Santana's made some. Same thing for John. I just feel like these guys could be locks, like a Cody, a Santana, a John. They could be locks if they got some of these players at the times. They're just, I guess, they want to save their money for playoffs, but that's way too much money to be going to the playoffs. But, maybe I'm wrong. Also, one thing I want to show you guys right here. There's a little rosters guy right here. This thing's cool. Found this out the other day at work. Shows you how you have every player on your team. Some of you already may know about it. I'm just finding out to it. But like every player on your team right now, if you drafted the player, if you traded for him, if you picked him up off free agency, it's pretty cool. Because if you look at Heath's team here, he has 2 people on his team that he drafted, and everyone else is via trade or free agency. Mainly free agency. He has a bunch of free agency people. I'm going to pause this and take a drink. All right, people say draft day matters, but Lord, it's another reason he's in the most valuable owner race. He has definitely more free agency bums on his team. That's what most people like to call the free agency players, bums, than anything on his team. Look at this. His team is consisted of free agents outside of Brandon Ingram and Westbrook, and it's surprising that he still has this guy. He's not bad, but the fact that everyone else he's dropped. Santana's team. And the other team I really want to show you was Cody's team. Why he's also in the running for most valuable owner outside of the con I gave him. It's 2 guys off free agency. Everyone else he drafted. He drafted really well. He got very fortunate with some people, I believe, that had really good years this year. He's gotten really fortunate with some of how the trades went down at the deadline as well. So it's definitely helped him out. Who's this last team? Sean. I figure Sean would have the most free agents on his team, but it's definitely Heath. But I think I got anything to say outside of the awards. Everyone knows what's going to happen for playoffs. Still interested to see what happens with Victor and Heath, because right now they're in the same bracket. In game is to play each other in the championship game, which I don't think Victor could even get there. But he could turn it on late. But hope everyone has a good week 18, and good luck, because some of y'all gonna need it.